"Welcome to Planet Zorblax," our captain declared over the intercom, his voice crackling with an excitement that was rare for someone who usually communicated like he was reading a cereal box. The crew of the Chronicles of the Cosmos, a ragtag band of spacefaring adventurers, had just landed on Zorblax, a planet so enigmatic that even the galaxy's most seasoned explorers hadn't figured it out. Our job? Unravel its secrets. I glanced at my alien ally, Vrax, who stood next to me. Vrax resembled a giant bipedal chameleon with an unfortunate fondness for human fashion, currently sporting a Hawaiian shirt that clashed violently with his iridescent green scales. "Another planet, another mystery," I muttered, "and probably another encounter with things that want to eat us." Vrax's tongue flicked out in what I assumed was a gesture of agreement. "Excitement levels. Optimal," he said, his voice an odd mix of hisses and mechanical whirring from his translation device. "Shall we begin?" We stepped off the ship, the ground beneath us a bizarre mosaic of crystalline structures and gooey moss that squelched unpleasantly underfoot. The air was thick with the smell of something between wet dog and burnt toast. "Why do I feel like we're walking into a tourist trap designed by a madman?" I quipped, mostly to myself. The landscape was dotted with ancient ruins, half buried and overgrown. Our mission was to decode whatever ancient nonsense these ruins held and figure out if they were significant or just the ancient Zorblaxians' version of public art installations. "First stop, that giant monolith over there," I said, pointing to a structure that looked like a stone version of a Tetris game gone horribly wrong. As we approached, Vrax's eyes darted around, his tongue flicking nervously. "Life forms detected, non-hostile, curious behavior." "Non-hostile? That's a refreshing change," I remarked. We rounded a corner and came face to face with a group of small, furry creatures that looked like a cross between a rabbit and a pug. They stared at us with wide, unblinking eyes. "Great, the welcoming committee," I said. "You think they speak human?" Vrax extended a clawed hand, and one of the creatures hopped forward, sniffing it curiously. "Language, unknown. Intention, friendly." I crouched down, reaching out slowly. The creature nuzzled my hand, making a sound that was oddly reminiscent of a coffee maker. "Well, aren't you cute?" I said. "Let's hope your ancestors didn't leave any nasty surprises for us in these ruins." With our new furry friends in tow, we made our way to the monolith. Little did we know, the mysteries of Zorblax were about to get a whole lot weirder. Standing in front of the monolith, I could feel a sense of anticipation mixed with dread. It loomed over us, covered in strange, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. The furry creatures circled our legs, their eyes wide with an almost eerie intelligence. "So, Vrax," I said, "any idea what these symbols mean? Because to me, they look like a toddler's scribbles after a sugar rush." Vrax's tongue flicked out again, his eyes narrowing in concentration. "These symbols, ancient Zorblaxian, rough translation. Entrance to the eternal hall of knowledge." "Great," I said, rubbing my hands together. Eternal halls always sound promising, full of wisdom and probably traps. As we pondered our next move, one of the creatures hopped up to the monolith and started pawing at the base. To our surprise, a hidden panel slid open, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. "Of course there's a creepy staircase," I sighed. "It's like they read the manual on how to build a mysterious ruin." We descended into the depths, our flashlights cutting through the inky blackness. The walls were lined with more glowing symbols, and the air grew cooler with each step. At the bottom, we found ourselves in a vast chamber filled with strange artifacts and more of those cryptic symbols. "Welcome to the eternal hall of knowledge," I whispered, my voice echoing in the cavernous space, where the only thing eternal is the confusion. Vrax was already examining one of the artifacts, a crystalline structure that hummed softly. "This appears to be a data storage device. Ancient Zorblaxians were advanced in ways we have yet to comprehend." Translation: "They were better at puzzles than we are," I said. "Can you access the data?" Vrax's fingers danced over the surface of the device and the hum grew louder. Suddenly, a holographic projection filled the room, depicting what appeared to be the history of the Zorblaxians. "Look at that," I said, leaning closer. "It's like a museum exhibit, minus the overpriced gift shop." The projection showed the rise and fall of the Zorblaxian civilization, their technological advancements, and their eventual decline. It was a story of triumph and tragedy, of great minds and greater mistakes. Wow, I said, genuinely impressed. They were something, weren't they? Vrax nodded. Their knowledge could help us understand not just their past, but our future as well. As the projection faded, we were left with more questions than answers. What had caused their downfall? And more importantly, what secrets had they left behind? Let's take this back to the ship, I said, picking up the data device. I have a feeling this is just the beginning. With the furry creatures leading the way, we made our way back to the surface, our minds buzzing with possibilities. The mysteries of Zorblax were far from solved, but at least we had a clue. And in our line of work, a clue was worth more than a treasure chest full of space gold. Back on the ship, we gathered in the common room, the data device glowing softly on the table. The rest of the crew looked at it with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. So, what's the verdict? Asked Jane, our resident engineer. Is this thing going to unlock the secrets of the universe, or is it just a fancy paperweight? Vrax connected the device to our computer system, and the room was filled with a low hum as it interfaced. Processing data. Stand by. I leaned back in my chair, trying to ignore the butterflies in my stomach. You know, this could be the breakthrough we've been looking for, or it could just tell us the Zorblaxian recipe for space pancakes. The holographic projection from the monolith appeared again, but this time it was accompanied by streams of data and complex equations. Jane's eyes lit up. This is incredible. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. If we can understand it, we could revolutionize everything. Or blow ourselves up trying, I said, always the voice of reason. Vrax's eyes flicked between the data and the crew. Their downfall was not due to external forces. It was a catastrophic failure of their own technology. A warning, perhaps. Typical, I said. They create something amazing, then it turns around and bites them. Classic hubris. As we delved deeper into the data, it became clear that the Zorblaxians had been experimenting with something called quantum resonance fields. The details were mind-boggling, but the gist was that they had tried to harness an almost limitless energy source. It worked for a while, but then, well, let's just say things went south faster than a penguin on a water slide. This is both incredible and terrifying, Jane said, her fingers screaming over the keyboard. If we can replicate their work without making the same mistakes, we could change everything. Or we could end up like them, I pointed out. A cautionary tale for future explorers. Our discussion was interrupted by a beeping sound from the console. It was a message from one of our alien allies, the Valnar. They had received our data transmission and were offering their assistance in decoding it further. Looks like we're not the only ones interested in Zorblaxian secrets, I said, and here I thought we were special. The Valnar were a highly advanced species, and their help could be invaluable. But their motives were always a bit murky. Allies, yes, but with their own agenda. Let's hear what they have to say, I suggested. Maybe they'll have insights we missed, or maybe they'll just try to steal our data and run. Vrax nodded. Engaging communication link. The holographic display shifted, and the image of a Valnar scientist appeared. Greetings, humans. We have reviewed your data and believe we can assist you in unlocking its full potential. In return, we request a share of any technological advancements made from this knowledge. I looked at the crew. This was a big decision. What do you think? Do we trust them? Jane shrugged. We're in over our heads as it is. Their help could be the difference between success and disaster. All right, I said, turning to the Valnar. You've got a deal. But remember, we're watching you. The Valnar nodded and the communication ended. As the data continued to unfold, we knew we were on the brink of something monumental. The secrets of Zorblax were within our reach, but so were the dangers. Let's get to work, I said, rolling up my sleeves. The galaxy isn't going to save itself. With the Valnar's help, our understanding of the Zorblaxian data grew exponentially. It turned out their quantum resonance fields were a double-edged sword. Immense power, but with stability issues that made a Jenga tower look like a rock-solid foundation. So, Jane said, pacing the room, we're basically playing with a loaded gun that could either give us free energy forever or blow us into tiny space dust particles. Pretty much, I agreed, not relishing the analogy. What could possibly go wrong? The Valnar, for their part, were incredibly efficient at deciphering the more arcane elements of the Zorblaxian technology. They provided us with schematics, safety protocols, and a list of components that we needed to construct a stabilized quantum resonance field generator. You know, I mused, if we pull this off, we'll be heroes. Or at least, rich heroes. Money isn't everything, Vrax chimed in, but it does help with repairs and upgrades. Spoken like a true pragmatist, I said. All right, let's gather what we need and get this show on the road. Our first stop was the nearby asteroid belt, where we could mine some of the rare minerals required. It was a straightforward job, but I had a nagging feeling that nothing was ever as simple as it seemed. Sure enough, as we were extracting the minerals, our sensors picked up a ship approaching. And not just any ship. Pirates. Fantastic, I muttered. Because what we really needed today was a high-stakes space battle. The pirate ship hailed us, their captain appearing on the screen. He looked like a reject from a bad sci-fi movie, all scars and sneers. Hand over your cargo and we might let you live, he growled. I rolled my eyes. Seriously? Do you guys ever come up with new lines? How about this? You back off, and we don't turn you into space debris. The captain's sneer deepened. You've got spirit, I'll give you that, but spirit won't save you. Neither will underestimating us, I shot back. Jane, Vrax, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Let's show these pirates why you don't mess with the Chronicles of the Cosmos. The ensuing battle was chaotic, with laser blasts lighting up the asteroid field like an interstellar fireworks display. Our ship took some hits, but Jane's expert piloting and Vrax's tactical brilliance turned the tide in our favor. Direct hit to their engines, Vrax reported. They're retreating. Good riddance, I said. Now let's finish up here and get back to the important stuff, like not dying from quantum explosions. With the necessary minerals in hand, we returned to the ship and began the painstaking process of constructing the generator. It was a tense, nerve-wracking task, with one wrong move potentially leading to catastrophic results. Everyone stay focused, I said, my hands shaking slightly as I connected the final component. We're almost there. The generator hummed to life, its resonance field stabilizing in a way that was both beautiful and terrifying. We had done it. Let's run some tests, Jane suggested. Make sure this thing won't blow up the first time we use it. The tests were successful, and the generator performed beyond our wildest expectations. We had harnessed the power of the Zorblaxians without their fatal flaw. We did it, I said, a grin spreading across my face. We actually did it. Vrax's tongue flicked out in what I hoped was a smile. Indeed. Now we must decide how to use this power responsibly. Responsibly? I laughed. Where's the fun in that? But deep down, I knew he was right. We had unlocked a tremendous power, and with it came a tremendous responsibility. The mysteries of Zorblax had brought us to the brink of disaster, but also to the cusp of greatness. The galaxy would never be the same. With the quantum resonance field generator safely on board and fully functional, our ship hummed with a newfound energy. The Valnar had upheld their end of the bargain and departed with their share of the data, leaving us to our own devices. As we drifted through the cosmos, a sense of accomplishment settled over the crew. So, Jane said, leaning back in her chair, what do we do now? With this kind of power, the possibilities are endless. First, we need to ensure it's stable and safe, Vrax reminded us. Our tests were promising, but real-world application will be the true test. I nodded. He's right. We can't afford to be reckless. But that doesn't mean we can't have a little fun along the way. Our first destination was a nearby planet, known for its inhospitable terrain and extreme weather conditions. It was the perfect testing ground for the generator's capabilities. If it could withstand the harsh environment, we could be confident in its stability. Everyone ready? I asked, as we prepared to descend to the planet's surface. Ready as we'll ever be, Jane said, strapping herself in. The landing was rough, the ship buffeted by powerful winds and acid rain. But the generator held strong, its energy field protecting us from the worst of the elements. Well, that's a good sign, I said, peering out the window. Let's see what else this baby can do. We spent the next few days testing the generator in various scenarios, pushing it to its limits. It performed flawlessly, its power seemingly limitless. We had truly unlocked something extraordinary. "Looks like we have a winner," Jane said, a note of awe in her voice. "This could change everything." "Indeed," Vrax agreed. "We must ensure it is used wisely." With the generator's capabilities confirmed, we returned to space, our minds buzzing with possibilities. We could provide clean, limitless energy to colonies in need, revolutionize space travel, and so much more. "All right," I said, gathering the crew. "We've got a powerful tool here, but we need to be smart about how we use it. Any ideas?" Jane spoke up first. "I think we should start by helping those who need it most. There are plenty of colonies out there struggling to survive. This could make a huge difference for them." "Agreed," Vrax said. "We have a responsibility to use this power for the greater good." "All right then," I said, feeling a sense of purpose. "Let's set a course for the nearest colony in need. Time to be the heroes we always wanted to be." As we sped through the stars, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. We had taken a risk, faced countless challenges, and come out on top. The mysteries of Zorblax had tested us, but they had also given us the opportunity to make a real difference. "To new adventures," I said, raising a glass. "To new adventures," the crew echoed. And with that, we set off into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, and there were still many mysteries to uncover. But with our newfound power and the bond we shared, I knew we could handle anything. The Chronicles of the Cosmos were far from over. In fact, they were just beginning.